right now. You're able to record this, you're able to have a chat window going on at the same time, and you can share screen, share documents, share all kinds of things with people so that they can see it on their screen, although it's not quite as good as Skype, which will send it across and let you share documents for real. So with video being this week, being what you're working on this week, using this platform this week is a really nice thing. Oh, you do? That's awesome. We use it for our doctoral program stuff. So we've actually had about 22 people on a Zoom session all at once, and it did not crash on us, and it actually worked pretty well. So yeah, it's a very nice platform. I find it a lot more stable for me than Skype, and I don't like to have to go into Blackboard and use the collaborate feature through that. Plus, I like to see people, even though everybody has their screens all blacked out for the most part.
Sorry, my daughter is sitting with me tonight.
Oh, who cares? We've had kids with these things. I've had dogs, all kinds of things.
That's why. So that's why my video is off tonight.
Oh, that's all right. I wasn't meaning it as any slam against somebody or anything like that. I was just meaning that a lot of times you can see people's faces. That gives you your little sense of community a little bit more. Since it is a gorgeous night, and I know that some people have said they have to put kids to bed, they have to be at sporting events, all kinds of things, I will keep it moving right along so we can hopefully be done by 7:30ish, unless you have a lot of things to talk about. First of all, with the lesson, I know, first of all, I'll apologize. I am behind on grading. I will have everything graded tonight and all caught up. I just had some internet issues on top of some documents that I had to have due. So yeah, I've gotten through probably half of each set of assignment, and every time I think I'm caught up, I'm not caught up. So tonight, the first thing I want to do is make sure that everyone has all their questions answered for the assignment this week. Do you have any questions about the yes, okay, so when you post a blog, let's say you posted a blog last Sunday, 2 days ago on Sunday, for week 3. By the end of week 4, you should have commented on your week 3. Okay, so you would be then having this entire week to get through and find the other posts from people, go down through, try and visit somebody new every week if you'd like to see what kind of things that they do. The reason I like using the blogs and having you comment on the blogs versus using the Blackboard discussion board, because that would work just as well, except for the fact that Blackboard courses do have an end date. And with the blog posts, unless somebody shuts their blog off, you have all of these resources that you can say, you know, in another semester when you're taking a class, you'll be like, oh, there was somebody that used this really great resource, and I don't know what it is, and I can't get to it. So because of that, I like having you post your things on the blog, besides the fact that now, for those of you that are in an educational setting, I have no idea where emojis are. In an educational setting, you can use this as part of your like SLOs for the year or your teacher objectives. We always had to write these things where we had to clarify 2 goals for the year for us personally as well as the students. And so that's one of my hopes too, is that, you know, by blogging and by using these technologies, that can fulfill some of your requirements there. For those of you that are in a work setting, I know that the course is kind of aimed at K-12 or even lower, even college level teaching. That's because primarily our master's program does tend to catch those people. But please feel free to tweak it to fit any kind of scenario you can figure out that would work with your work, or your scout troop, or your Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, or your church youth group, or your bowling league. Anything you can think of that would make it something that has at least a little value to you, I'm fine with that. If you find that you can't, then make a fake assignment. Okay? This is something that maybe in the future, I think, you know, maybe down the road I'll get, you know, finish my degree and I'll get a job teaching 6th grade. I'll get my alternative certification or whatever, and do that. Or I'll move into a training role at my manufacturing plant, or any of those kind of things. You know, aim it for what you want to do, what you think you might be able to do, or just make it for yourself. I'm fine with you kind of targeting it any way that makes sense to you. The video that you need to be, and I'm going to mix it between the two classes. I think it was 3 minutes, but I am going to check right now because I don't remember exactly what the end time was on it. I'm teaching another class right now, and they are also doing videos next week for them as a part of it. So I'm double checking on that for you on that requirement. So in the meantime, while I'm checking on the requirement for the length of the video, if anyone would like to start us off for tonight, I know that all of you don't know each other possibly very well. If you'd like to introduce yourself as you start commenting or talking, this week the alternative readings, the extra readings in a little video I gave you was on creativity. And with creativity, there's a lot of pieces to it that don't often get dropped into the classroom or into the work setting, especially with people that have tested subjects. Sometimes it feels very difficult for you to, between 2 and 4 minutes long for the video, I'm sorry. It becomes very difficult for you to embed a lot of creativity or give the students a lot of ways to express themselves whenever you're in a setting that you have a set curriculum for every week, or you have only 30 minutes every 2 weeks to train people, things like that. So do you, as you are thinking about this then, how do you tend to embed some creativity into your course or into your work setting? And you can go ahead and take your microphone off mute and talk, any of you that would like to.
Okay, is this working?
It's working.
Okay, so hi, I'm Amber. I'm a 4th grade teacher, and my kids love to draw. They only get art once every 2 weeks, so I need to integrate art as much as possible. And then they get really excited anytime they hear art is coming. So you can kind of they're so good because they look forward to it. So I recommend that. All right, I'm going to unvideo myself now.
It's okay. I don't mind. It's.
My apartment's messy. It's for the best.
That's okay. Just wait till I'm at home for one of these nights instead of in my apartment in Michigan, and then you see chaos. So does anyone else have any ideas on how they can embed or how they use creativity in their classroom or in their work setting?
I teach preschool, and my school is actually play-based. So
Very nice.
we do creativity all day long. Sometimes Mrs. Mack uses creativity at the last minute so that we have something to do, because my little ones definitely need constant creativity for the entire time they're with me. So that's a huge part of our day, having that ability to kind of just embed that in our classroom. I think it keeps us going.
I try to never turn my mic off, and I know that it gives you feedback because I never remember to turn it back on. Thank you for reminding me of that. So what I was saying was, how about anyone else? Are there even just moments that you allow students to have a way to express themselves creatively, or to share their understandings, or in a work setting? Is there a way that creativity is kind of promoted or emphasized?
I guess I can go next. I'm Sheila, and I am not a teacher yet, but I'm working towards that. I find that in my work setting, if we use for training, you have to have creativity when it comes to training, because a lot of people would get really bored if it's not creative and they're not actually being participants in the training session. So adding, let's see, how can I word this? Adding multimedia into our lessons will provide a lot of creativity for the participants, because then they will have a role in their learning whatever is being taught. And that's how I look at it, because I know I've taken a lot of training classes, and I would rather sit there and participate than to hear the instructor just talk all the time.
Definitely. Okay, so A.L. Schumacher.
It's Schumacher.
Okay. Where I'm from in Western Pennsylvania, there's two ways to do it. It's either Shoemaker or Schumacher. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear it all the time differently.
Yeah. You said they're more engaged. So do you want to talk a little bit more about that? How you feel that creativity and engagement?
Oh, well, like their brains shut down if they're bored. So you gotta like keep them up and moving, and it's like the same thing with their physical movement and like mental movement. Like if they're excited, they're gonna think better. So you gotta like get their juices flowing, and then they like just are more engaged, so they can do better.
Oh, I definitely agree. Does anyone else have a different way of embedding creativity into their training or into their classroom or anything like that?
Yeah, I can go. So I'm Jennifer. I kind of have a unique situation where I am the director of my school's online program. So I don't design curriculum as much as I kind of monitor and help our students.
Mm-hmm.
But the program that we use allows me to add content into the already made curriculum, which is nice because like I have kids taking intro to business, and if I see like a relevant article that popped up in the news, I can add it to their course and say, hey, take a look at this, give me your ideas, what do you guys think about it? And then that's kind of cool because it keeps them up to date with what's going on, and it uses like their coursework, they can actually apply it.
Makes it relevant too, by adding in the current things that are going on. Does anyone else have anything you want to share?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So my name's Jennifer as well. And I taught 5th grade in the past. I'm not teaching this year, but what I've noticed is like when kids have creative opportunities, they seem to be more engaged. A lot of kids mentioned not being bored, but it seems that they like try more to go like above and beyond. Like they want their final product to be something valuable. And some of the things that I have done in the past is like in science, we were doing body systems and we had the students create songs. And this is kind of where like the whole copyright thing came into place. Bad teacher, but like had the kids pull up karaoke versions of songs that they knew, and then they recorded themselves singing to those songs on SoundCloud, but they rewrote the lyrics, which was really cool. And they learned a lot, and they learned how to work together in small groups. But also just like instead of like having kids write book reports or something, but letting them create plays and record themselves. Or I've done newscasts for the I Survived books where they pretend that they're news anchors and they're like retelling the story of like what had happened in the book. But they seem to be really excited to share their product when it's something more than just like writing. I think you're muted again.
There's police truck or fire something going by my apartment here, and I keep muting it so you're not hearing that, and then I forget. Thank you again. What you were talking about, the allowing for diverse ways of expressing themselves, is where I was kind of trying to hope to get you guys. And a lot of you, I think, we're using very creative methods of doing things in your classroom, especially from things that you've been sharing within your blogs and that. I just don't know that you on all the time think that you're putting creativity into your lessons by allowing students these choices. By giving the students a way to differentiate their instruction, by allowing them to pick different ways to create their products or to put pieces together from this or from that they know how to do already, maybe into a larger project. By giving them these choices, though, you're allowing them to have some ways of creative expression. Even those of you that teach math, and I know we have a huge contingent of math teachers in this class, by allowing the students to solve things, which a lot of you I'm sure do, by allowing them to have different ways of solving things and coming up with an answer, and even if they get the right answer but they do it wrong and you have to correct that, by recognizing that their path that they chose to do has some correct pieces to it, and even opening up a classroom discussion on that, that really helps embed the creativity into their problem solving, because they can see then that it's not a lockstep process, that they are allowed to have some ways of going around outside of the box. So that's one way that I have seen creativity. And I taught in a classroom for 23 years, and I taught in a one-to-one laptop district for 7 years, with a cyber program and with a face-to-face program and a lot of hybrid blended learning. So I've seen it in all of these settings where if you have there's a lot of people that have done, as you said, the writing assignments where students have to write in their journal or whatever, but allowing them some choices, allowing them to do a video journal sometimes, or to do it as, a cartoon character or a comic strip. One of the things that one of the resources that I think you have this week is Powtoons, and that's a really nice, easy little connection to creating cartoons. With no access to technology, it is sometimes difficult to create things that are technology-based, but there's a lot of ways that you can really embed creativity into your classroom still. And if you want to, those of you that don't have any access to technology in your classroom, if you want to have a little special chat session sometime about how to, build technology into your classroom where you don't have any technology, we can try to do that. And I can try and find some resources for you then. The question I have for you now, though, is we've been talking how creativity goes into the classroom and creativity could go into your work setting. How do you assess it? Do you assess it? Is this something that you can give them a grade on? Would it be a good thing to grade them on it? What do you think about that? Give me your ideas.
So I can give an example.
Sure.
So prior to the job I have now, I was a classroom aide, and the English teacher I worked with, he would, when the kids would read books, he would give them like 25 different choices of things they could do, ranging from writing a poem, drawing scenes, just kind of like the whole range of creativity. And for him, and I kind of helped him develop this for grading it, we really looked at if the kid was able to fulfill the requirements. So if it was you had to draw a scene, then did they actually draw a scene? And if they had to write a poem, did they actually write a poem? And we kind of graded creativity in that sense, as if they actually followed what it was that the instructions said.
Okay. And Jennifer said she's used rubrics. How did you use rubrics to either grade or assess creativity or to promote creativity? Now you're muted too. There.
So I know my husband's just walking in right now. So I've used rubrics by like telling the students, or setting the expectation, like, you need to use 10 vocabulary words, or you need to tell me the theme of the story, you need to include story elements. So just like having a guideline of these are the things that you need to include, and then making sure that they include all those things. And if they only include half of those things, then their grade would reflect that. So just kind of holding them to everybody to like an equal standard to make sure that they put in, the right amount of time needed.
Okay, and for those of you that are on phones or whatever, you don't get the chat feed. And so they said on top of the rubric, I give you extra credit for really good ideas. And that's what I was going to just actually kind of open my mouth and say whenever you were done talking about how you use the rubrics to set the standards, and how some of you have said about telling the kids what they have to have and then maybe letting them have a choice on what they get to do. I've also seen the rubric set so that if you do all the requirements, you get a 95%, or you get 48 out of 50, or you get 23 out of 25. And by setting the expectations that the base amount only gets you to a certain level, and then having to go above and beyond that by having a unique idea or a different way to express themselves, sometimes that's a way to push students to be more creative in the classroom. Because I know the power of rubrics, like mentally I know the power of rubrics, but on the other hand, I also feel like the kids do a lot of times just enough to get the rubric points, and they don't want to go above and beyond. And by setting a category for creative expression or creativity or unique ideas or, the wow factor, those kind of things, that can really add a little incentive for students to go above and beyond and kind of come up with a way to do things that hasn't been done before, and not just, recycling their brother's project from 3 years ago with different content and that kind of thing. Does anyone else have a way that you look at creativity in the classroom from an assessment point? Or do you have an opposing view? Do you think you should not be grading creativity? Or are there other things that you grade that maybe factor into the creativity, but you're not actually grading it? Okay. I tend to have good wait time, but you guys are good. All right, so the last little bit that I have then for you to talk about is what kind of technologies would you specifically choose if you have access to them, or what type of activities do you pick when you want the students to have a way to express themselves creatively? Somebody's already said they love Powtoons. Okay, so
I like to make comic strips when I can with the computer.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So there's bit strips. That's one that works for that.
I like to do it especially when we're reading a novel, to try to bring a little creativity towards the conclusion of a novel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen. So are you doing like the straight comic squares, like with Comic Life or Bit Strips or something like that? Or are you looking at having them do like animated cartoons?
I kind of done it both ways. At a previous school, when I had more technology with the MAT computers, it was a little bit easier to do them. With what I have now, whatever site I can find online that's user friendly. So that's kind of what I like to do.
There is Powtoons that someone else had mentioned as well. Powtoons is a really good one for that. It's free, and you can animate the characters pretty easily. I gave an assignment in class to my freshmen, and they were really a tech challenge group. Some of them, like one of the kids had never, he didn't have any kind of social media. He did not want technology whatsoever in his life, so he had no social media. He had no idea what Twitter was, or what a Twitter feed was, or what a tweet was. So he went from there, and we were looking at using Powtoons with him, and he was actually able to create an animated video pretty quickly. So that was one way that I've seen that happen. Somebody else shared Vimeo, SoundCloud, Powtoons, Google Presentations. I'll post a link before I sign everything off tonight. I'll post a link. It doesn't really have anything to do with multimedia, but you can put video pieces in. But if you have a Google account, you can actually use Google Forms to create a choose your own adventure story, which I think is really fantastic. Everybody loves choose your own adventure stories, where you have all these different choices. Do I go right or do I go left? Is the goblin going to get me, or am I going to fall in a hole and break my leg? Those kind of things. But I've also been using the Google Forms and the choose your own adventure format to do tutorials. So you can use those as well to create structured tutorials for students where they have 2 choices on the answer. Choice 1, is correct maybe, and it takes them to the next question. And choice 2 then takes them back to some remediation where they can come back in and take the question again. So that's another way that you can use Google Forms to do something like that, and it's kind of a creative way to do it. And I let students do historical lesson plans for my class with choose your own adventure stories, and I actually had students that went out and, like college kids that went out into the field. They did William Wallace and the big fights to death and all of those kind of things, and built them into the choose your own adventure with, him not losing and what might have happened. That was pretty interesting, although not historically accurate, but they really went crazy on something that I thought they were going to just do the basic requirements and do that. So kids, I've had kids even as young as 4th grade constructing their own choose your own adventure stories with that. Once you show them how to do it, it works pretty well. Anything else anyone wants to share about the types of technology that you use to really promote creativity in your classroom or work setting? Okay then. Last question then. Do you think that being creative is actually important in learning? And there's not a wrong answer. I mean, people are saying yes, 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 but there's not a wrong answer. I mean, if you don't think that creativity belongs in the classroom, there are some times that people do not want to give them the choices or allow them to have those different experiences because of having to fill requirements or anything like that. So a lot of you are saying yes, absolutely, and yes, yes, yes. Do you run into any obstacles? Definitely time.
One obstacle that I've been actually currently having is I'll have some students that want to take the time to be creative and do a particular, like for us, we do a lot of art. So they might want to do the art, and then I'll have some that just want nothing to do with it. And, in my mind, I think they're going to love it because it's, painting or something, and just want nothing to do with it. So I think that's been my struggle recently.
Does anyone have solutions for that or ways to help out? Remember that she is teaching in a preschool setting without technology. Okay.
All right, I guess I had something to say to that. I know, I'm sorry I'm late. I was just thinking, it's just with the older kids too, I kind of give them a menu of choices of how they can respond. So it's you can do a play as a final project. Now for your little kids, you want to flip through this book. Maybe you have a big just bookworm and they want to read and not draw pictures. So you just have to, find other things that they can do on their own somewhere else. Does that make sense?
Definitely. I think in my setting when I was teaching chemistry, number one, it's not a tested subject in Pennsylvania, so that really helped me out a lot. I was able to give the students some time to be creative whenever we got sidetracked onto a project that connected to the curriculum but wasn't necessarily something that was tied in, kind of intimately with that. Just allowing the kids to it's good to be able to give them the freedom to do different projects and to look at different things, but it's also very good sometimes to tell them that they have to try it. I am a terrible artist. My stick figures look like they have been mutilated. They're really great at Halloween because, they're missing body parts and limbs and everything else. And their heads don't always connect to their body. So I tell them, I draw stick figures all the time because it makes it really fun for you guys because you get to laugh a lot, but it illustrates my point even though I'm not very good at it. And letting them know that, you can try a lot of different things and giving them that choices sometimes really allows them to kind of jump in and do a great job with a really badly done, very creative project, if you know what I mean on that. Yes, the effort behind it is always a big part of that. Okay, so does anyone have any other questions or any comments about creativity in the classroom or the work setting? The things that you're doing for the day, you know, for the week with the class, any other things that you want to talk about? Okay, well then, we got this done in record amount of time. It's only 7:30, so that'll get you back to your families and everything else that you're trying to do really quickly here. If you have any issues that you want to talk to me about when everyone is gone, just kind of hang out on here for a little while and we'll let everybody leave. For those of you that have not used Zoom before, on the bottom right-hand corner of most computer screens, there should be a red end meeting, and you can click that. And I will have the video posted by tomorrow. And as always, email me or give me a message through the discussion boards. I've subscribed to all of them, so I do get those messages. If you have any questions or have any issues that you needed to get some insight on or figure out, I'm usually pretty good about getting back to you on the email. Okay, so everybody have a great night. It was good to see you and good to talk to you, and I will, like I said, get all the stuff done that I told you I would get done, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Hi, Dr. Jan.
Yeah.
This is Sheila. I didn't want to hold everyone else up, but I wanted to ask you about our assignment for this week, considering that I am not an official teacher per se. I've been trying to figure out exactly what I can do for my project this week. I was thinking about, I think I'm going to use the Powtoons. However, I think I wanted to also incorporate, well, as you can see with my other assignments, I've been using customer service training and things like that.
Definitely.
So I wanted to incorporate that somehow into my assignment. Would that be okay?
Sure. That's a great idea. And Powtoons is a really nice way to do something like that can be really controversial, because once you have a cartoon, cartoons allow you to take some really not pleasant content sometimes and put it in a friendly setting, and people take it much better. So I think that's a really great way to incorporate that with a customer service standpoint. And for your found video, you could watch find anything on YouTube about customer service.
I found tons of things.
Yeah.
But you know what? The problem about finding the videos is the Creative Commons.
You can embed a YouTube video without any problem.
Okay.
As long as you are not posting the content, anything that's found on YouTube that hasn't been taken down, technically, theoretically, let's put it that way. Theoretically, if you find it on YouTube, you can embed it onto your site or use it that way, because it links directly back to the content.
Okay, perfect.
If you're not downloading it and then re-uploading it, then that. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of reading because some people in this class had some really great, very pointed questions, and that was one of them. What if they, find that YouTube content has copyright issues and you posted it on your blog? Are you going to get sued too? And from what I can find, the question is no, because whoever posted it, it just might be removed, and you'd have to take care of that. So, yeah, YouTube stuff.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I have a really good idea about my project. So.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this session tonight.
Well, great. It was good to have you. Have a great night.
You too as well.
Okay.
I had a quick question for you.
I'll go after.
Okay.
I don't think I did my Padlet right.
Why do you not think you did your Padlet right?
I don't know. As I was looking at the other blogs, mine was just not up to my classmates, I guess.
Well, okay, so I've seen Padlets done in a lot of different ways, and sometimes people use them as a sample of what students would do. And sometimes people use them as an example of copyright, and they just use it as a class assignment. And then other times, because I think you emailed me and I took a look at it, didn't you? Or was that?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't think I saw a problem with it. I'll put it, hold on, let me write it down. Because I'm finding that my brain, I'm not even 50 yet, and my brain is like going quickly. I'll write it down, and I will go through your Padlet assignment, copyright assignment, first tonight, and let you know, because
I found just I had a really hard time with that, just finding a way to relate to it.
Right. Well, you're in a weird situation, in a weird like setting too, aren't you?
I'm in a ELA social studies setting. I just I've never used it, and I just had a really hard time.
As long as you came up with a way to make it work for you, for your class or whatever, even if it, like I said, it's just an assignment you do for class, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Because like Sheila said, she's doing customer service because she's working in industry right now. I've had people that were pharmacy technicians, and having them figure out something to do training on was a pretty big stretch a lot of weeks. So as long as you've met the requirements of it with the different types of videos and different types of artifacts that you've attached to your Padlet, that's not going to be a problem.
Okay. But if there's something that I can do different, let me know and I'll fix it.
If it is a problem, which I didn't think it was when I looked before, but my memory's a little shaky on exactly what you had. So if there's an issue with it and it's going to give you a really, bad score on it, I will kick it back to you and I'll say you have until week 7 to have this fixed.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Have a great night.
You too.
Uh-huh.
Okay, my question's just really quick.
Sure.
I'm just wondering, I guess I can take, I don't know how to put my video back on. Don't mind my daughter.
Don't worry about it. I don't care. It doesn't matter, really.
Background. But, hi. So, for the video, it has to be animation. It can't be like
No, it can be a video.
Oh, okay.
A video. No, those are I just gave those as examples because there's a lot of people that have never seen a way to create their own animations. And so.
Okay, sorry, she wants to see you.
Gosh. Right. You are so cute.
Thank you. This is my worry about turning the camera on. I knew she was gonna want to join.
Of course. She's like a rock star. She definitely should be on camera.
Oh, thank you. So I just was wondering if it had to, I'm interested in the animation. I've never done it before. I'm interested in trying. I just worry if it doesn't go
No, if it doesn't work, you can do a screencast.
Okay.
You can do an easy screencast. It could be even something as like telling a screencast that you put on your thing to your parents that says,
welcome.
This is how to log into our protected class blog, or this is how to access the school system to check, to put money into the kid's account. Even things like that are fine. So you can screencast that, or you could do like a little video with Powtoons, or you can use, people who've used PowerPoints and just narrate it over top of them. It's really open, whatever you decide to choose to use. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for the Zoom, so we have one in 2 weeks, but then we have a final one.
And you're only required to go to 1 out of the 3. So
but the final one we have to be at.
No.
Oh, okay.
You have to go to 1 out of the 3, so week 2, 4, or 6. And then I'm gonna run one in week 8 because there are several people in the class that work nights.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so one person is a coach, and their games are Tuesday, Thursday, and they're not over until after 7 o'clock. So they were kind of. So I said, okay, I'll add an extra one in on the week 8 just to have an opportunity if you haven't been able to make them, so that it's not something like that. But yeah, you're good. You're good on these.
Okay.
No, you don't need to be at any of the other ones. You're welcome to. A lot of people do like the camaraderie that you get as you're talking with the group, but you're not required to go to more than one of them.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I thought the first one was the mandatory, so I said, I better make sure I'm at this one. So, okay, thank you so much.
No, not a problem.
Okay.
And have a great night then.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.